Hi, my name's Emmanuel, and the topic I chose is Jewish baseball players, like the famous ones or in history. I chose my topic because I play baseball myself, and I was interested in learning what it was like for Jewish baseball players in the United States, both historically and in the present. Baseball was important for Jews because it was considered the all-American game, and by participating in the game, they became accepted for who they were. They were accepted with more friendliness in America. Baseball was one of the only options or chances for Jews to become accepted in America. I want to play you a little song that you may have heard of. Well, this song, if you know it, it was actually written by a Jew, Albert von Tilzer, who was a Polish Jew in 1908. And so, even the world's most popular baseball song was written by a Jew. In the late 19th century and early 20th century, many Jews loved baseball and played sandlot games. Like that. First professional Jewish baseball player was Lytton Pike. His middle name is Emmanuel, but it's not how I spell my name. It's with one M less. And who began playing for the Troy Haymakers in 1871. A number of Jews later entered baseball between 1900 and 1920. At the time, many people in the U.S. did not want to accept the Jews who were coming over from Europe and Russia fleeing oppression. A lot of fans in the stands of ball games, if a Jewish player came out to the field or to bat, they shouted anti-Semitic comments at them. For example, Sheeny, Kike, etc. During the 1930s, Hitler became Chancellor of Germany, and he began repressing the Jews. Henry Ford, the car manufacturer, was an anti-Semite. Ford's paper, the Dearborn Independent, suggested that Jews in baseball was a problem. Goody Rosen, who was in minor leagues at the time, in the 1930s, got a comment, "Hitler will get you," and a fellow fielder on his team went and got the police to take care of the fan. Jewish players were also insulted by other players who tried to discourage them by shouting names at them. And some spiked them in their thighs or other places. The cleats were made out of steel. Ty Cobb was especially anti-Semitic and racist, using his spikes on Jewish players. Spiking is when, if you're sliding into a base, the person there drives a spike into your thigh or any other place. There were many Jewish players who inspired Jews to feel good about themselves, proud of their heritage and race. They also changed the way America thought about Jews, the way white people thought about Jews. Hank Greenberg. Hank Greenberg was one of the most famous, if not the most famous, of all Jewish players. He was one of the best hitters among Jewish players, probably the best, also the first professional player to earn $100,000 per year. He almost caught up to Babe Ruth's home run record, but people suspected that the white pitchers were purposely walking him so that he could not match Ruth, a white man. He was born in 1911. He first started out with the Detroit Tigers and had a great batting average, and he got a lot of home runs. Greenberg inspired many Jews not to be afraid, to be proud of who they were. When people shouted anti-Semitic things at him, he would sometimes fight back, but would try not to let the comments affect his playing. In the minor leagues, he was being insulted by another player on his team. When he got off the bus, he punched the man. Greenberg wore his Jewishness on his sleeve. He didn't try to hide it. Other players tried to hide their Jewish identity by changing their last names so that fans and players wouldn't say anti-Semitic things to them. Although Greenberg was not religious, he couldn't decide whether to play on Rosh Hashanah in 1934 in a key game against the New York Yankees. So he asked the rabbi, who said he could, because the rabbi looked at the old scripture and found a reference of children playing in the streets during Rosh Hashanah. He helped the Tigers win that game. However, he did not play on Yom Kippur, and the team lost. In 1934, when the Tigers won the World Series, Jews across America listened to the game and rooted for Greenberg. In a film about Greenberg, a man tells the story of being the only Jewish kid in the classroom, and how whenever Greenberg got a hit or a home run, they would all turn and look at him. And he felt proud. Greenberg joined the army to fight against Hitler, he said. He played professionally from 1930 to 1947. He got traded to the Pittsburgh Pirates in 1947 because his manager got mad when he saw him holding a Yankees jersey, and so he traded him to the worst team in the National League. Greenberg was the first player to wear a webbed baseball glove on the field. He also encouraged Jackie Robinson when he fly with him while playing the Dodgers in 1947. Robinson was the first African-American professional baseball player. He broke the color line. Greenberg told him to shrug off the racist insults he was getting. Next day, Robinson told newspaper reporters that Greenberg was his personal hero. Later, from 1948 to 1957, Greenberg helped to manage a team with the greatest number of African-American players. Other Jewish baseball players. Another Jewish player was Moberg. He was fluent in 7 languages, someone said, but couldn't hit in any of them. Educated in Princeton, he became famous because he served as a spy for the United States during World War II. He was a good catcher as well. The other famous Jewish player was Sandy Koufax, who was a left-handed pitcher for the Brooklyn Dodgers and the Los Angeles Dodgers from 1955 to 1966. He wasn't always a good pitcher. When he started out, he threw wildly. In 1963, he chose not to pitch in the first game of the World Series because it fell on Yom Kippur. American Jews were proud because he was showing his Judaism. He went on to help win the World Series for his team. He pitched a perfect game with all strikeouts. Koufax is considered by many the greatest left-hand pitcher of all time. His pitching was like a dance. And there were many other important Jewish baseball players I do not have time to mention. There have been over 163 Jewish baseball players in the major leagues. Roughly 3% of today's players are Jewish. Today, there are still a number of Jews in professional baseball, but people don't think much about it because many people don't care about it anymore. There isn't as much anti-Semitism. However, there is still some. Even in the 1990s, opposing fans yelled racist comments at a player named Adam Greenberg, who was not in relation to Hank Greenberg, and he wanted to punch the fans who yelled at him. But he said he had to refrain. Today is a Jewish player on the Boston Red Sox, pitcher Craig Breslau, who has 366 career strikeouts and an earned run average, or ERA, of 3.20. However, until recently, Kevin Youkilis was the most famous Jewish baseball player on the Red Sox. He played first base and was a very good hitter. So in conclusion, Jewish baseball players have faced many challenges over the years. They inspired American Jews not to be afraid and changed how many American people view Jews. Because they were great at what they did, they challenged stereotypes about how Jews were. Women have also played baseball. There was a famous woman Jewish player in the Women's League named Thelma Tyson in the 1940s, and yet women aren't allowed to be in the major leagues as men. Why is this right? The inclusion of women in baseball is a new horizon challenge. Last year, a girl pitcher, Monet Davis, pitched in the Little League World Series. So From a Jewish and Black American experience of inclusion in baseball, women can also learn not to give up and to fight for what is right. They can end sex segregation in professional sports. I'd like to thank the following people. My dad, John, my mentor, Matt Goodman, and my shul teacher, Gabriella Goodman, as well as my mom.
Well, I just want to express our thanks, first of all, to Gabby Goodman, the wonderful teacher of the Zion Club. She's done a great job. And I'd like all the kids to come up and just stand in front of the stage. I think we need another big round of applause. And I just feel exceptionally proud of all of you. Such a wonderful job. And I really can't wait to the bar bat mitzvah ceremony in May to hear what these kids have to say about their own Jewish identity. So please join us for some light refreshments outside, and thank you again for coming.